What is up, everybody, and welcome back once again. In this video I'm going to be doing my post week 9 XFL power rankings. Without further ado, let's begin. Coming in at number 8, I still have the Orlando Guardians, who lost to the San Antonio Brahmas in a tight game. Just was not enough for the Guardians to come out on top. Pretty rough season, a nightmarish season for the Orlando Guardians and Terrell Buckley and company. Coming in at number 7, I have the Vegas Vipers, who came out strong against the Houston Roughnecks, but ultimately too many turnovers on offense that led to defensive points cost them the game. They literally allowed 2 defensive touchdowns. The Vipers' defense played well, but the offense made too many mistakes, and the Vipers ultimately were unable to get the win. Another team that has lost in a lot of close games. They just can't seem to get over the hump. Coming in at number 6, I have the San Antonio Brahmas, who, got the win over the Orlando Guardians, are still alive in their hopes for a playoffs. They will need to win their game and hope the Renegades lose their last game, and then, since they would be with the same record, the same divisional record, the head-to-head would be 1-1. It would go to net points. And that is undetermined as of right now, but yes, the Brahmas still have a shot to get in, but their offensive line is really bad. They need to figure something out there. Coming in at number 5, I have the Arlington Renegades. They were able to put up one hell of a fight against the DC Defenders, almost won the game. The game went to overtime. Luis Perez played a great game. Perez was making some incredible throws. The throw he made on the 4th and 15 onside kick to keep the game alive was pretty impressive. And then the drive to get into field goal range. I think they got a little too conservative once they were inside the 20-yard line. They had an opportunity to win the game right there. They weren't aggressive enough, in my opinion. They ultimately ended up kicking the field goal and losing the game in overtime. But they still control their destiny. All they need to do is win next week. And if they lose, then they need the Brahmas to lose. Now, if they lose and the Brahmas win, like I mentioned, it will go to net points. So the Renegades still have the higher chance of making it in. Coming in at number 4, I have the Houston Roughnecks, who were able to get the win over the Vegas Vipers. As I mentioned earlier, their defense really is what won them this game. Quarterback play continues to be inconsistent with Brandon Silvers. Obviously, Cole McDonald didn't offer much for them. The Roughnecks need to figure something out there because I don't think it's a matter of play calling or a lack of, good players around. I just think, the quarterback play is not very good. And there was some miscommunications, like the opening drive interception was not on Silver's fault. It seemed to be a ran route by the receiver, but still, they need to clean some things up come playoff time. Coming in at number 3, I have the St. Louis Battlehawks, who lost to the Seattle Sea Dragons yesterday. They lost 30-12. It was weird. Watching that game, it did not feel like the same Battlehawks team we've seen all year. It wasn't even so much how much they lost by, but there was just a lack of energy from the team. And A.J. McCarron, in his game back from injury, he did not look very motivated. It was weird. I mean, you usually see him, pumping up guys, coaching up guys. It just seemed like there was something missing in this game. It did not seem like the same team, which was very strange. And then a lot of penalties were committed, which is also uncharacteristic. And now they're in a position where they don't fully control their destiny, because even if they win, if the Sea Dragons win, then it will go to the net points. And that's why we saw the Sea Dragons trying to run up the score there at the end of the game. Even though the announcers for that game didn't even seem to realize why they were doing so. And then even after it was explained, they still couldn't get it right, which, is definitely pretty, impressive for an announcer to be that clueless of what's going on. But, regardless, the Battlehawks, very tough, very bad loss for them. Their offense could not get anything going, and, McCarron was really getting thrown around in that second half. And then coming in at number 2, I have the Seattle Sea Dragons. And, I think Ben DiNucci, reestablished himself as maybe the MVP front runner for now, because AJ McCarron, who I think was the front runner, he needed to have a big game because he missed the previous week. Now he had a tough game. I don't think McCarron wins the MVP. The other candidate, Abram Smith, I think too many fumbles. I don't think he gets it. Akeem Butler was completely quiet in this last game, and that's pretty bad for a receiver in terms of an MVP race. I could see Pearson, the receiver on the Sea Dragons, Danucci's teammate, win the MVP, who leads the league in receiving. He's been having a really good year, so I think it's going to come down to two Sea Dragons, either Danucci or Pearson. But in terms of the Sea Dragons, yeah, I mean, this was a big win. Their offense was very good in this game. Their defense played really well. They got the ball to Josh Gordon in some pivotal situations, which I wanted to see more of. So yeah, the Sea Dragons are playing good football. They're 6-3, and they don't fully control their destiny, because even if they win and the Battlehawks win, then it will go to the net points. So it's way more likely that with the Sea Dragons and Battlehawks that it comes down to the net points than it does for Brahmas and the Renegades, because the Renegades would have to lose and the Brahmas would have to win. If the Battlehawks and Sea Dragons both win, it will come down to the net points, or if they both lose. Currently, the Sea Dragons are at 47 net points, and the Battlehawks are at 22 net points, which means the Battlehawks need the Sea Dragons to lose, basically, because in order for them to get in with the Sea Dragons winning this week, they would need themselves to win, and they would need to outscore their opponent by 25 plus, but maybe even more, because the Sea Dragons, but it will be more, because even if the Sea Dragons win by 1 point, that will add to it. So this Battlehawks will have to win by 25 or more, plus tack on whatever the Sea Dragons win by. So ideally the Battlehawks just need the Sea Dragons to lose. So yeah, that's how that will be playing out. And then coming in at number 1, team that doesn't really need to worry about anything heading into this final week. They have home field. They're clinched in the playoffs, and they have home field advantage clinched. All that's left really is just to keep improving their record, get to 9-1 instead of 8-2. Is the DC Defenders. They're clearly the best team right now. They just know how to win games, except for that one strange one against the Guardians. But they're the top team right now. Comment down below what you guys think about all this. And yeah, I've been enjoying this season. 1 week left of the regular season, and then they will have the playoffs. But other than that, I will see you guys next time.